I'm standing here with the telescope and it's inside the soft carrying case. When you get it to wherever you're going to start using it, the most important thing is to open up the pocket that's in the back. Let me just turn this around here. I'm going to open up the pocket that's in the back. I'm going to take out two very delicate pieces. One is the finder scope. Now I'm going to show you how to attach it, but there's an entire other video on how to use this. Also in here, I have the lens. Very expensive, very delicate. You want to treat it with a great deal of respect. So I would take these pieces out and put them to the side before you take the case off the telescope. Now I'm going to turn this back around this way so the zipper is facing me. And I'm just going to take the zipper that's on here and open it all the way up to the top. Now, if you had the handle together, don't really need to, but you could just undo the Velcro straps and pull it apart. Then you could just take the whole carrying case comes right down. Now, what you could do then is you could find the base. The base is where the telescope sits on the table or the ground. You could lift up the base and have somebody just pull the carrying case away, keep it dry till later. I'm going to leave it on here just for now. But the base actually acts like the Lazy Susan. The whole telescope turns around on this Lazy Susan base. And that's what makes this telescope really affordable, not to have a really fancy mount. And from the base comes the telescope support, or the tube support. And what that does is it holds the telescope about midway through the telescope up in the air. Then the tube, or the telescope itself, pivots on this tube support. And what you do is you turn the telescope around with the base, right, and then go up and down to find an object in the sky that you're going to look at. Right. The first thing is that we're going to do is we're going to take off the dust cap. It's very important to keep the dust cap on when you're not using the telescope. So let me just pop that off. I'm going to put it over here with the other materials that I have. Now, the operation of the telescope is when light comes in through the opening here, travels the length of the telescope and hits this mirror down here in the bottom. Now, the mirror is not flat, it's curved a little bit in a special way. So as the light comes back up through the telescope, when it gets towards the front, it's pretty much focused. Hits another mirror and comes out through this hole here. That is where we're going to put the eyepiece. So let me do this. Let me just take the eyepiece, the focuser, right? This is called the focuser. I'm going to take the focuser dust cap off. Then I have for the lens, I have two dust caps. And I'm going to take the stainless steel end, the bright shiny end. I'm going to drop it right into the hole. And there are these two tension screws that are just to hold the lens in place. You don't want to really crush it down, just want to keep it from falling out. Then you have these two knobs, and the two knobs allow the telescope to move in, the lens to go in toward the telescope or move away from the telescope. This is how you focus the image. The other thing you need to do at this point is to loosen the tension screw. And you're going to take the Easy Finder 2 spotting scope and you're going to slide it in from the back toward the front, and then you're just going to put enough tension on that screw to hold it in place. The Easy Finder 2 is set up correctly when the tube that's on here is facing towards the front of the telescope. Then your telescope's ready to go. When you're done with the telescope, you're just going to go in backward order from everything we did. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Easy Finder scope out. You have to make sure the switch is off. I'm going to explain that in the video, okay? I'm going to put this aside for now. Then I'm going to take the lens out by loosening the two screws. I'll put the dust cap back on the lens. Going to put that to the side. I'm going to take the focuser dust cap and put that right back in here. I'm going to make sure the focuser is all the way in towards the telescope. Then I'm just going to make the telescope go vertically, just have it go straight up and down. At this point, what you could do is either pick up the telescope. I always pick up the telescope by the base. I feel like I can really get a lot of control over it that way. You can then either pick it up and have somebody slide the soft case underneath it for you, or you can have the soft case open right nearby. You can pick the telescope up and put it down into the soft case. The best way to do this for the protection of the telescope is once you get this going and you want to get the zipper started. Oh, I almost forgot. I have to put the dust cover back onto this telescope. That's a very important thing. It just snaps into place. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the case up. The best way to do this is to turn the telescope so that the tube support is away from the zipper. Okay, I'm going to explain why in a minute. Then all you need to do is you might need to pull the slack out of the case, and then there you go. It's all zipped up. If you wanted to, you could use the handle. If you're going to do that, just snap the Velcro pieces together. I have to give you a caution here though. I never use that handle, and here's why. If I pick this handle up and held the scope at my side, the scope would drag on the ground. It's not a hand grip, it's a shoulder grip. So you could, if you wanted to, take this and hang it on your shoulder. I find that to be awkward, because then you have this tube hanging out behind you, and you could bang it into a door or something else. If you're out in a field and you want to carry it around like that, that's fine. Before we do that, I'm going to take my eyepiece, I'm going to put it back in the pocket. I'm going to take my finder scope, I'm going to check to make sure it's turned off. Put that back in the pocket. And then I'm ready to go and put this into my car. Now, when I put this into my car, again, I always just grab this because I'm hugging this $300 telescope. And I just walk around like this, I let it lean on me. When I get out to my car, and you're going to see that in a moment, have somebody open the door for you. Then what you want to do is tip the top into the car first, and then sit the telescope down, and then you want to put a seatbelt on your telescope. You want to put a seatbelt on your $300 mirror that's sitting inside a tube. Now let's just say that you're all packed up and you're going someplace and there's no seats available. Then you could hold on to the handle and gently place the telescope down on its side. That's why having the tube support on this side over here is better, because then the telescope would be sitting on the tube support and not on the tube. Right? Put it down, put something soft up against it so it doesn't roll around. Okay? You want to keep your telescope dry and you want to keep it clean. Dust and water are just bad news for a telescope. So here I have my telescope in the soft case. Again, I always just pick it up like this and walk around with it. You can do whatever you feel is good, just take really good care of the telescope. Now, here's how you put it into a car.